Hello and welcome to Newsbrief on 22nd Century Television, Channel 28, with me, Marion Grace Davies Kama. Let's take a look at the stories making the Newsbrief. Romuald Wadani was sworn in as Benin's new president on Sunday. The nation's former finance minister formally assumed the presidency, succeeding his predecessor, Patrice Talon. Wadani, an economist known for his technocratic approach, was elected on April 12, securing 94% of the vote. He perceived as representing a continuation of his predecessor's 2 terms in office. His only challenger, Paul Okpe, was comfortably defeated, and Okpe's party subsequently aligned with Wadani's party within the legislature. The primary opposition group, the Democrats, was unable to participate in the election due to lack of sufficient endorsement and internal divisions.
Cet instant où le peuple béninois me confie la charge suprême de conduire notre nation, j'éprouve un sentiment profond de reconnaissance et de gravité. Je mesure l'honneur qu'il m'a fait le 12 avril dernier en sortant massivement accomplir son devoir citoyen. Je mesure surtout la responsabilité qui en découle, car il est dans la vie d'une nation des moments où une élection dépasse le choix d'un homme pour devenir le choix d'une direction, le choix d'une méthode et le choix d'une ambition partagée. Mes chers compatriotes, au cours des 10 dernières années, le Bénin s'est profondément transformé. Les Béninois ont renoué avec le sentiment de fierté et notre pays a retrouvé le chemin du développement. Ce parcours a exigé des efforts et de la discipline. Il a imposé des sacrifices qui ont permis à notre nation de retrouver quelque chose d'essentiel, la confiance en elle-même.
During his inauguration, Wadani declared, "I will lead Benin with honesty, bravery, and dedication." He further stated, "I will serve with the firm understanding that authority is never a personal entitlement." Wadani assumes leadership of the West African nation that has experienced a decade of strong economic expansion. However, the country continues to face a significant disparity in wealth, and instability affect its northern regions due to assaults attributed to extremist factions. Nigerian President Bola Tinubu plans to seek re-election in January 2027. He has secured his party's presidential nomination with an overwhelming victory in the All Progressives Congress (APC) primaries, and is said to be officially confirmed as the party's candidate this Sunday.
Representatives of INEC, if they are here, members of diplomatic corps, other observers, members of the press, to my darling wife, ladies and gentlemen, today we celebrate another proud moment in our democratic journey. A history not defined by any individual, but by our collective resolve to build a stable, prosperous, and just nation.
Following his success in the APC's internal selection process, Mr. Tinubu will be formally declared the party's representative for the 2027 presidential election at an event in the capital, Abuja, held at a conference center bearing his name. First elected in 2023, President Tinubu has consistently expressed his ambition to serve another 4-year term, a goal symbolized by his reported affirmative for item featuring the number 8.
4 years ago, I stood before you as an aspirant to the highest office in our country, seeking your mandate alongside many distinguished compatriots and fellow aspirants, driven by conviction and patriotism. I recall with gratitude to Almighty Allah and all of you how I sat that night at Eagle Square beside my friend and ally and a compatriot then, and my predecessor, President Muhammad Buhari, of blessed memory. With your support, I emerged our party's candidate. A month later, I became the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It was a night full of anxiety, uncertainty. So many of you, some of you, particularly some of the governors, were aspirants, already elected and looking forward for re-election.
The announcement of his primary win on Saturday evening was celebrated by the party as a demonstration of its internal democratic procedures. He competed against a single challenger, Stanley Osifo, a relatively unknown businessman who reportedly spent 100 million naira, approximately $73,000 for the right to contest against the president. Tinubu is widely considered for the frontrunner to win the January 2027 election, benefiting from the fragmented and weakened opposition. His APC party currently governs 31 of Nigeria's 36 states, an increase from 21 in 2023, attributed to numerous individuals switching their allegiance to the ruling party.
As Nigerians, we must continue to stand together for our country against all forces that seek to divide us. They will try, but we must be firm, be together, be our brother's keeper. Yet, challenges remain. Many Nigerians still struggle with rising costs and economic adjustment. We do not dismiss these concerns. We understand them and govern not in comfort, but in reality, with honesty and action.
During his initial term, President Tinubu introduced several reforms designed to stimulate the economy and enhance confidence among international investors. However, many ordinary Nigerians remain pessimistic about the economic outlook. Inflation reached a peak of 30% in 2024 and was still at 15% by early 2026. While fuel prices have quadrupled in 4 years. According to the World Bank, approximately 60% of Nigerians live in poverty, representing a 4 percentage point rise since President Tinubu assumed office. Nigerian Prime Minister's presence at the inauguration indicates a potential restart of discussions following months of regional tensions. Benin's new president, Romuald Wadani, formally commenced his term on Sunday, pledging stability, security, and regional cooperation. However, it was the attendance of Nigerian Prime Minister Ali Mahamani Lamin Zen at the ceremony that gathered significant attention across West Africa. Following a period of strained relations between Benin and the military-governed Alliance of Sahel States, AES, Zen's visit to Cotonou appeared to signify a cautious diplomatic warning and a mutual readiness to re-engage in dialogue.
Le nouveau président a fait l'amitié et la fraternité du pays de l'AES en les invitant et nos présidents respectifs nous ont autorisés à venir assister à cet événement important. Et je crois que c'est une nouvelle voie qui s'ouvre. Il a parlé justement de prendre en main son propre destin, faire ses propres stratégies et ça nous encourage. Et je crois que les peuples de ce pays ont toujours été ensemble. Le plus important, c'est de travailler au raffermissement de ces.
The inauguration occurred at a sensitive juncture for the region, where security challenges, economic difficulties, and political divisions resulting from several military takeovers in the Sahel have redefined relationships among neighboring states. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio indicated that American and Iranian negotiators have a substantive proposal under consideration, suggesting an agreement to conclude the conflict could potentially be finalized on Monday.
Like anything with something like this, it's going to take a couple days to settle on, even down to the disagreements over a word, sentence.
During a visit to India, Rubio stated that the discussions were still in progress. His comments followed President Donald Trump's instruction to negotiators not to rush into a deal, despite Trump's having previously hinted that an agreement was close. The reported terms of the deal include a 2-month extension of the ceasefire, the resumption of access through the Strait of Hormuz, and a plan for subsequent negotiations concerning Iran's nuclear program on Monday. In the Indian capital, Delhi, Rubio reiterated, "We are still a work in progress. As I said, we thought we might have some news last night. Maybe today," he added. So we have what I think is a pretty solid that's on this table in terms of their ability to open up the straits.
The straits have to be open. They're going to be open one way or the other. So they need to be open. What's happening there is unlawful, it's illegal, it's unsustainable for the world.
Referring to the Strait of Hormuz, the vital waterway through which 20% of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas transit. However, Rubio advised against making hasty interpretations, noting that it takes a little while to hear back from Iran. The Sierra Leone's government, through its Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources, has successfully concluded the 2026 Mines and Minerals Week. This 3-day event featured discussions primarily focused on openness, ethical mining practices, and enhancing advantages for local communities involving in mining. Hosted at the Bintumani International Conference Center, the gathering assembled leaders from significant mining companies, high-ranking government officials, various industry participants, and development collaborators.
And I do believe the Mining Week 2026 has laid the foundation. For so long, we complain that our mineral resources are not working for us. I do believe there's a lot of truth in that. But that responsibility falls on all of us. I did mention again during my opening ceremony that yes, responsible mining without shared prosperity is incomplete. I did mention that value multiplication without shared prosperity is unjust. didn't even mention shared prosperity without responsible governance is unsustainable.
Their goal was to address important matters impacting the nation's resource extraction industry. A central theme of the event was the application of the Mines and Minerals Act. Specific attention was given to topics such as the Community Development Funds, CDF, clear management of income, and improving benefits for local areas affected by mining's activities. During the conference, Julius Daniel Mattia introduced the Community Development Management Information System, CODMIS. This new digital platform aims to enhance openness and responsibility in how funds generated from mining are handled.
And the communities themselves, and I'm sure some of the chiefs here will agree with me, they have their citizens pointing fingers at them, accusing them of using the money in a very opaque way. Sometimes they really save money. And those figures have also been pointed at the government officials themselves. Severally, it's been misconstrued that the enemy of the Ministry of Mines is withholding that money or they're using it. So today, we're going to try as best as possible to lay that to rest. We're going digital, we're going public, we're going transparent, but also with that, the burden is on you. That responsibility falls on you to visit that site and explore.
The CODMIS system will enable citizens to monitor payments directed to communities, including land lease fees and other financial gains from mining. Officials anticipate its public trust by offering simpler access to details about how mining funds are allocated and overseen. Attendees at the meeting viewed this effort as a significant move towards fostering responsibility and ensuring local population gain directly from the nation's mineral wealth. The event reiterated the government's dedication to enhancing openness, boosting local involvement, and encouraging ethical investment within Sierra Leone's mining industry. All these stories making the news brief. Thanks for watching 22nd Century Television, Channel 28. And do follow us on all our social media handles. I have been your presenter, Marion Grace Davies Kama.